Sun Peaks is an unassuming and relaxed resort, considering it is the second largest in Canada based on skiable acres. Removed from the Vancouver crowds and the Powder Highway bustle, Sun Peaks provides a ski holiday that feels like an escape. The resort has 4,270 acres of skiable terrain and a respectable 895 metres of vertical. The terrain is predominantly intermediate with a few long, gentle greens. There is some enjoyable terrain for advanced skiers, but the slow, fixed grip lifts and long traverse in or out dampens the appeal.
The base area is well developed, with the lodging spread out along the valley so it never feels crowded. The long rolling green and blue trails make Sun Peaks a great resort for beginners looking to master the basics and intermediates looking to bed down their technique. The calm village feel suits families and groups who enjoy exploring a resort in a tranquil environment, away from the frantic activity that big resorts tend to have.
Getting to Sun Peaks is a little under 45 minutes from Kamloops or around 3 hours from Kelowna International Airport. Check Drive BC for traffic and road conditions before you leave the airport. There are bus and private transfer options at the airports to and from your accommodation. If you're driving, we'd recommend an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive with winter tyres or chains in case of poor weather.
There is plenty of free parking at the resort, but this does fill up on holidays. If you're staying in Kamloops, keep an eye on the weather, as the drive back down can be slow if conditions change.
Sun Peaks has a relatively small main base area. Ski rental and locker facilities are available in the resort village. Burfield and East Village are secondary base areas, but there are limited facilities at both. Lockers, food, tickets and ski school are all located at the Village Day Lodge.
The annex provides easy food and drink options for day visitors, while the village has a few shops and restaurants. Sunburst Lodge is the only on-mountain food option, and it has a lower level area for anyone with packed lunches. There is a warming hut at the top of the world for those needing to escape the weather on cold days.
Let's get to the skiing. Sun Peaks has long green and blue trails that are perfect for beginner and intermediate skiers wanting to build skills and confidence. There are some enjoyable black trails and excellent tree skiing terrain for advanced skiers.
The beginner area at the base is well positioned away from the main ski traffic and has a few trails like Cowabunga to challenge beginners before they venture up the mountain. Beginners ready to ride the lifts should take Sundance Express for long, gentle green trails like Homesteader and Rambler. Over on Mount Morrissey, the Sticks and Home Run provide gentle, meandering trails great for beginners. These are long green trails, so make sure you're ready for this before leaving the learning area. More confident beginners looking to take on blue trails have some short trails like Hasta La Vista or Orient Lift, while Mount Morrissey has a few excellent long blues like I Don't Know, Showboat and Still Smokin' that tend to be quieter than other parts of the resort.
There are two adventure zones shown on the map. One is Three Bears, a large gladed adventure zone, but there are gladed areas across the resort like the Hasta La Vista trees that are not technical and the kids may enjoy.
For the intermediate skier, the blue trails of Morrissey Express, like Midlife Crisis and CC Riders, are long trails with varying pitches, great for building skills and confidence, but they have a few flat zones that may frustrate some skiers or riders. Trails like Sundance, Sundowner, Cruiser, and Exhibition are fantastic consistent blues but tend to be a little busier. The slow fixed grip lift service to Top of the World makes the blue trails in that area of the resort a little less attractive, while the new West Bowl Express provides some excellent terrain for intermediate skiers. The black trails off Top of the World like Chief and Ralph's Reach provide short trails that intermediates looking to level up can test themselves on.
The advanced trails are spread across the resort, but some zones require a hike or traverse to access, or worse, a ride up the Burfield lift. Advanced skiers will find trails off Sunburst Express like Caribou and Intimidator to be the most productive because of the express lift, while Peekaboo and the gladed area to the left is a lot of fun. Spin Cycle and Static Cling are enjoyable black trails off the Morrissey Express, but most other advanced or technical terrain requires riding the Burfield or Crystal lifts to access. Head Walls is a relatively short, steep trail, while Chute is longer and more technical. Due to snow conditions during our visit, we were not able to venture into Gills.
The terrain parks are mainly on Sundance, with Flight School and Drop Zone providing an array of features and a couple of big jumps. Basic Training provides small features for those starting out. Sun Peaks has a few small pop-up terrain parks scattered across the resort. Check the trail map for the latest update.
There are a few things to be aware of for Sun Peaks. Like most Canadian resorts, expect cold weather in January and February. One of the days had a high of -14 during our visit at the end of February. The trails off Sundance, Orient and West Bowl have a southwesterly aspect, great for soaking up the winter sun. Trails to the right of Sunburst, like OSV, have a westerly aspect, so are less sunbaked, while the trails off Morrissey are north facing, so the snow tends to hold up well. Late February and into March are great times to visit as the resort is quieter and the worst of the colder weather has passed. Plus, there's a chance of a spring dump of fresh snow.
Sunburst and Sundance Express lifts are busy in the morning and can have queues at times during the day due to the volume of patrons coming through this part of the resort. Avoid riding the Burfield lift from the base. If you find yourself forced to do so, be ready to break out the cheese and crackers, or, if riding alone, turn on your next True Crime podcast episode, as it's a 28-minute ride back to the top. You might find yourself in the warming hut up top, defrosting after the ordeal.
It's also worth noting there are flat zones on the resort where keeping your speed is important, like crossing through to Morrissey Express or back to Orient in a long connector if returning to the base. The lower parts of 5 Mile and Rambler can be busy around lunchtime and late afternoon as patrons make their way back to the base. On a clear day, Top of the World is a great place for a selfie or group photo, but if you want the Sun Peak sign in the backdrop, then head to the top of Sundance Express.
If you find yourself in the West Bowl after it is closed, or at the bottom of the Burfield late in the day, we'd recommend riding the bus back to your accommodation, rather than taking the lift back up. The extent of terrain and different aspects of the different peaks spread skiers out across the resort so it seldom feels crowded, and there are places to hide from poor weather all over the resort. There are sleigh rides, tubing and snowmobile activities for those wanting a rest day, or Nordic ski trails if you want to stay active but feel like a break from the alpine action.
Most of the accommodation across the village is ski in, ski out, albeit some may require a short hike to the access trail. There is a bus service in the village for any accommodation a little further from the slopes. There are 6 hotels at Sun Peaks, providing a range of options, while there are lots of townhomes and condos available for families or groups.
If you are self-catering, a grocery delivery from a supermarket in Kamloops will allow you to get everything your group may need without the hassle of needing a car or the long trip to town. There is also overnight RV parking for those that might have detoured from the Powder Highway.
In our opinion, Sun Peaks is a resort for those looking for an escape where skiing and snow take centre stage and nature surrounds you. The mix of beginner and intermediate terrain will suit groups and families who enjoy exploring a resort. There are black and technical trails across the resort that will also challenge advanced skiers.
For adventurous skiers, there are graded areas to suit various skill levels that provide added excitement. The 4 slow fixed grip lifts and the flat traversing zones out of some areas may frustrate some visitors, but overall Sun Peaks provides a solid mix of terrain that is hard not to enjoy. Check out our trail and lift videos to get the most out of your visit to Sun Peaks.